I don't recall asking you for an interior space evaluation. What is your purpose in contaminating my chamber?
Oh my god. Hey internet, it's Jessica and welcome back to Chess of Blade. So we're going to continue with the next route, and a lot of you wanted me to take a look at Franz first, so that's who we're going to do. I am going to skip over all the stuff we have already seen in case you missed the first route I did, which was Arden. The link to the playlist is in the description below, so you can check that out. Alright, let's see what Franz has to say, because he's a pretty interesting character considering he's considered a foreigner, not from this area, and he's kind of like the cryptic one, who says all this like random shit to Rivian, and I don't know exactly what he means, so hopefully this one will be interesting. And I heard that all the routes are supposed to be different, they're not exactly the same, so I'm looking forward to that. As much as I loathe the idea of scampering after Franz like a lost kitten, he seems to think of me as I want answers from him. Silently apologizing to Arden in my head, I weave through the crowd and follow the tall figure, who waits for me to catch up before continuing.
Good. I'm glad you're being sensible. Besides, you don't really enjoy that boring guards company, do you?
He's not boring, he's just cute. Okay, I'm gonna have to like control myself because Franz has like a fucking nice voice. He's such a nice voice. You know about Arden too? He must be building a quite unflattering reputation for himself. The corners of Franz's lips curl slightly upwards, his thumb hooked casually into his pockets as we stroll towards a less populated part of the festival.
His reputation is not as poor as you might think. He did get into the Royal Guard, an elite unit, through remarkably hard work, and attracted quite a bit of attention. I don't know him personally, of course. I simply keep abreast of pertinent information.
I watch his movements from the corner of my eye as he speaks, trying to discern anything that he might reveal information where he's from or his occupation. He's certainly tall and well built enough to be a fighter of some kind, but his elegant speech and smooth movements lead me to believe that he's related to noble politics somehow. Yeah, because like, I'm not trying to like say Saber is like stupid or anything, but he's the fighter, right? And his mannerisms are definitely not of someone who's like very high standards like Franz is, so don't think he's a fighter, though.
Regardless, it seems like you've been heeding my warning. I tried your bedroom door last night just to make sure it was locked.
Well, thanks, I guess. What? I should report you to the guards, you know. Next thing, you'll be smashing through the balcony doors.
Come now. Do you really want to act so callously against one of the few people who can keep you safe? I promise. I have your best interests at heart.
I believe so. What part confused me the most is like when, in Arden's room, when he said in the beginning, he's just like, oh, something's gonna happen and you're gonna get involved whether you like it or not. Like, how does he know that part? I didn't understand that. And then afterwards, we never saw him again. We only saw, the Inquisitor, Linnaeus, but I don't know where Franz went. I shoot him a disgruntled look as we come to a halt behind the last festival stall on the street, where the chattering and the bustling crowd sounds distant. You've been spoiling all this nonsense, acting like a grand benefactor, but I don't have any reason to believe a word you say. Isn't it a little ironic that the most disturbing encounter I've had so far has been with you? No one's pulled a knife on me or given me any reason to mistrust them, except you. My accusation seems to bounce off Franz, who folds his arm impressively over his chest and watches me with a tilted head. A hint of a smirk stays on his face, which can surely only mean bad things.
I guess it'd be rather hypocritical for me to tell you to be on your guard around others, but not give you a reason to trust me. A little kitten learns fast.
His nickname for Riv, oh god. Can you cease and desist with that kitten nonsense? It might work on some shy maiden, but I assure you I'm nothing of the sort.
Really? I could have sworn I felt your heart pounding like a little war drum when I had you pinned in my arms.
Oh god.
However, returning to the subject at hand, there are a number of reasons I could give as to why I want to help you, but I doubt you'd believe any of them at this point. But if you want proof as to the fact that this celebration and its guests are more than they seem, I believe the occurrence I spoke of earlier will happen no later than tonight.
How do you know, though? Makes me think maybe he's like a undercover spy who's like secretly in the disciple. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's pretending to be one of the disciples, the cult people, and then like just giving all information and whatever to Riv. The occurrence? Could you be any more vague? Franz shrugs lightly, running a hand through his hair.
You've played chess before, haven't you? You see the opponent's pieces moving, but a skilled player often masks what they're planning. The best you can do is stay alert.
The keen light in his eyes suggests that he definitely knows more than he's letting on. Damn it. What I would give to be cold and calculating bastard like you right now. Father, I'd see through him in a second. Then I'll reserve judgment until I see for myself what's afoot. Afterwards, I'll decide if you're a delusional pervert or just an exceptionally well-informed one.
As expected of Lord Varrison's son. I trust we'll encounter each other tonight, then.
Okay. He steps closer, leaning in to press a finger under my chin, and gaze down at me with an uncomfortably discerning eyes.
Until then, stay on your toes. The most painful attacks come from the most unexpected of places.
Am I gonna get stabbed in the back or something? I glower up at Franz silently in reply, which only serves to indicate a low laugh from him as he steps past me.
Ah, those eyes send sweet shivers down my spine. Well, good afternoon, my little girl.
You're gonna be a little less, like, discreet about it. Like, Franz, come on, the flirting. He disappears around the edge of the stall, presumably returning to the street, and I sigh quietly to myself as his footsteps fade away. I don't know why, but I feel like I wasn't the victor in that conversation, even though I wasn't even aware we were in a contest. Regardless of his intentions, I don't think I'll ever get used to that man's demeanor. It's like dealing with a male escort or something. Sulking a little to myself, I head back to the street, returning to the direction Franz that I had come from. When I return to the Snake Charmer's circle in Myers, I catch Arden wandering around searching for me and tell him that I went out to relieve myself in some bushes. He gives me somewhat of a dubious look at my excuse, but doesn't question it. Well, it's none of his business anyway. He'd probably pop a bane if I told him too much about Franz. Yeah, he would. Okay, we're back at the awkward dinner. This time we're gonna side with Franz and see what happens. Damn, that whipped cream is simply just too enticing. I pull the slice of cake in front of me, sighing happily. This is what it's meant to be an adult.
Oh, is that your shy little way of saying you want a kiss after all?
Damn it. Smirking rather victoriously, Franz swipes a bit of cream off the cake with his finger and licks it off with the lewdest manner I can imagine. Oh dear God.
Disgusting. And you're no better, you know. Not what your father thinks.
Oh God damn it. His razor-sharp glare directed at me now. Linnaeus shakes his head despairingly and takes an irritated bite of bread. Okay, so here's the announcement. I'm wondering if it's going to be the same situation like Hazel gets kidnapped, unless it's something else. Let's see. Halfway through his sentence, the man reading the announcement suddenly cuts off. A servant who had just hurried up to his side whispers something in his ear, and I can tell from the announcer's widened eyes that something happened.
Hey, is this something set up as part of the event?
Who's the guest? Who's the guest? I wanted to know so badly.
Murmuring breaks out through the crowd, impatient and curious whispers fitting around. Well, now I'm curious too, damn it. It must be something rather serious for him to just go silent like that. What happened? Oh wait, Arden. What do you think is... Huh? When I glance over to where Arden was, I find a significant lack of Arden standing there now. He was never exactly one to be stealthy. Did he have to answer nature's call outside or something? He had plenty of time to do that earlier. Maybe they called him over or something.
It is my regret to announce that, due to unforeseen circumstances, our guest will not be presented tonight.
We still never found out who the guest was, right? The uneasy voice of the announcer slices through the whispers pervading the room.
A small issue has arisen that His Majesty's men are currently attending to. We ask that all guests remain calm, as everything will be resolved by morning. During this while, please continue to enjoy the remaining festivities. Report any suspicious behavior to the guards.
But what are we supposed to be looking for? Finishing his announcement, he bows respectfully and disappears further beyond the balcony, leaving behind a haze of confusion and curiosity.
Well, I suppose we'll just retire for the night.
I hope they didn't cancel the dance. I wanted to try dancing in my new shoes.
The idle chatter resumes at normal level among the guests, although a faint sense of uncertainty seems to hang over everything like a storm cloud. What on earth was that about? I wonder. Baffled, I shake my head and start to turn around to look for Arden.
Excuse me, sir.
What? Oh. A heavy hand suddenly firmly clasps down on my shoulder. It belongs to an armored guard in front of me, standing to block my path.
I'm afraid you'll need to come with me, sir.
What? Why? What do we do? I beg your pardon? What's the meaning of this? Adjusting his posture rather stiffly, the guard motions silently to me to walk forward towards the stairs. Is it just my imagination, or is he treating me like I've done something wrong? I have quite the bad feeling about this. Oh god. Deciding it's not in my best interest to cooperate rather than cause a fuss, I head to the staircase, trying to ignore the questioning gaze sent my way by some of the other guests. Hopefully in Victoria's rumor declaring me as some sort of... Doesn't start spreading during my absence. Damn nobles like vultures around like carcasses when it comes to calling out each other. When we reach the guest hall corridor, the guard, who was following closely behind me, quickly curls his gauntlet finger around my arm. Careful now, no need to leave bruises. When are you going to tell me why exactly I'm being taken into the naughty corner?
There has been an incident, sir, and you are under suspicion for involvement.
What? Incident? You mean what the announcement was about just now? Well, clearly I had an established alibi during... Ignoring my obligation, the guard pulls me forward down the hall, this time far less gentle than before. Well, now I definitely had a bad feeling about this. How on earth did I even get involved in this in the first place? I was just minding my own damn business. The room we arrive at is a few halls down from mine. One hand firmly grasping my arm, and the other wraps a knuckle on the door, eyeing me not too subtly from the side all the while.
Sir, I brought one of the suspects.
Is it Linnaeus? One of the suspects. Bloody disgrace. As I grow quietly to myself, trying to swallow my building panic, the door suddenly opens. Oh.
It's about time. Varrison?
The astonished, bespectacled face on the Inquisitor appears before me. I just saw him at the dinner table. He must have been called out as soon as I left. Linnaeus? You're the one I'm being taken to? Oh, thank goodness. You can extract me for this mess, right? What? Linnaeus' hesitant, silent dashes my building hope of a quick end to whatever I had been caught up in. He narrows his eyes somewhat sharply at me, growing slightly chilly, although a dubious expression remains on his face.
Well, if you've been implicated as a suspect, it's my duty to detain you, regardless of our acquaintanceship. Bring him inside.
But what do we do? What the hell? I grind my teeth together at a dismissive response, which the guard obeys, pushing me into the half-office, half-bedroom that presumably Linnaeus' quarters. Who the hell is this guy? Oh yeah, this is the boy with Celeste, right? Sitting in a chair in the corner is a small young man, huddled up to his knees, pulled up against his chest. Wait a second, haven't I seen him before? Oh, right. It's the kid who knocked on my door earlier. What is he doing here, though?
That's him, I think. Sorry, sir.
What? He gives me a guilty look, quickly glancing away and hugging himself protectively.
I see. Well, Rivian, it seems Alistair here is quite convinced you were out in the gardens when tonight's incident took place. So...
Wait a damn moment! What is this incident you keep talking about? Give a man some details before you start accusing him of things he didn't do! Linnaeus pauses, giving me a long, scrutinizing look before continuing.
Tonight, a man was murdered on the castle grounds.
Oh shit, so this is the murdered version, okay. A cold sensation tingles down my spine. So something really did happen after all.
His body was found in the gardens after the dinner, and as a result, everyone who was in the surrounding area at that time is potentially involved.
But we
in
have
the
a
affair.
witness! Arden was with us! He pushes up his glasses in a matter-of-fact manner to punctuate his words, then glances towards the boy on the chair.
This young man here was within sight of the garden exit in the main hall during that period, and informed us of the individuals he saw passing through the door in that time frame. And you happen to be one of them.
That's ridiculous. Besides, Arden was with me in the gardens. He could tell you quite plainly that I wasn't going around stabbing my dinner fork at anyone out there.
I'm afraid Arden has been called to active duty for protecting the king at this time, so reaching him will be quite difficult.
Wow!
You'll have to be taken to a guarded area for further questioning in the meantime.
I growl under my breath in frustration, squirming in the guard's firm grip on my arm. There has to be something I can do to get out of this situation! A guarded area is probably the safest place to be with a murder on the loose, but I refuse to be locked up for something I'm not guilty of! Just as the armored man starts to pull me towards the door, a knock suddenly echoes from it. The guard abruptly jerks in surprise, shooting a quick glance towards Linnaeus through his helmet.
Well, don't just stare, fool. The door isn't about to open itself.
He's such an asshole.
Yes.
He reaches out with his gauntlet hand and hesitantly turns the knob. I have to say, he's awfully tentative for someone who's wearing so much armor. I can't see who's standing at the door since the bulky guard is blocking my view, but he doesn't appear to have been stabbed, so I assume it's not the murderer.
Sorry to interrupt, but do you mind if I barge in?
It's Bay!
I think I can offer some help with this nasty situation.
The guard hesitates for a moment, then nods, and the visitor slides past him. Franz?
Why are you?
Linnaeus is like, bitch, what are you doing in my room? Chuckled a little at our startled faces, the tall man dipped slightly forward in a mocking bow towards us.
My, don't you two know how to make a man feel welcome?
I love him.
It's a bit cramped in here, isn't it?
His eyes roaming across the room, Franz pauses to study Alistair for a moment, who nervously shifts a little under his intense gaze.
I don't recall asking you for an interior space evaluation. What is your purpose in contaminating my chamber?
Oh my god. While the two of them offer each other challenging glares, I glance out of the corner of my eye at the door. It's open, and the guard seems distracted by Franz at the potential threat. I could try to make a run for it, although I doubt I get very far.
What a rude way of phrasing things. But to answer your question, I'm here to get my kitten off the hook.
Oh my god, he calls them kittens still. Whoa. Suddenly reaching out towards me, Franz curls an arm around my waist and pulls me nonchalantly up against his side. Unhand me, you blasted! Wait, did you just say you were getting me off the hook?
Before I ask how exactly you intend to do that, I'm curious as to how you were even aware of this investigation in the first place.
Linnaeus raises his eyebrows suspiciously, staring at Franz with an unmasked distaste.
Well, I saw the little blonde here being carted off by the guard in the main hall. So I followed them. It was clear enough he had gotten himself into some kind of trouble.
Yes, please, help me! As he speaks, Franz squeezes my hip, as casually as someone embracing a longtime lover. I'm starting to think that I'd almost rather be taken in a cell than put up with this harassment. Yeah, I mean, I love Franz, but why is he grabbing him like that?
I see. In that case, are you able to confirm his whereabouts from the period between the end of the banquet and the announcement in the main hall?
Franz nods confidently, lips curling in a winning smirk.
Of course. You were there too, Glasses. You saw me follow him after he left the table. I was keeping an eye on him when he went to the garden.
Oh my god, he calls him Glasses. You followed me? What is wrong with you, thick-headed perv?
That may be so, but I have little evidence that your words are trustworthy. Your presence in the gardens at that time also implicates you in this matter.
Interrupting my complaint sharply, Linnaeus drums his finger on his forearm, returning Franz's smile with a derisive curl of his lips. Franz, however, doesn't seem to be fazed by Linnaeus' retort. In fact, if anything, his tone only grows more confident and firm.
It just so happens that a guard was with me at the time. I specifically requested his presence in case someone tried to jump the kitten outside. But it seems someone else got jumped instead.
Yeah.
But my point is, unless you're going to start accusing your own guards of murder conspiracies, you can confirm my statement with him. The boy's innocent.
His unhurried words come to a finish, and Franz turns his head a little to glance down at me, squeezing a little lower down my hip. Okay. This time, though, I feel too shocked to even protest. Was Franz actually watching me all this time? Did he really know something was going to happen? He doesn't seem to be lying and isn't flinching the slightest, even beneath Linnaeus' icy, skeptical gaze. I can't believe it! He must have been telling the truth when he went out to the balcony last night. Some serious things are in motion now, and I've been caught up in them. But how did he know? Exactly, that's what the part I want to know so badly.
Very well, then.
For a moment, Linnaeus gives me a long look. Wanted that less accusing and more like some kind of warning? Is he trying to tell me something?
Now, if you could refrain from wasting my time any further, please leave my chambers so that I can return to my investigation.
He's so mad. He turns his back on us to face Alistair once more, to which the boy stares at him, wide-eyed.
Come on, kitten. Let's give Glasses and his poor victim some privacy.
Oh god. Grabbing my hand, Franz pulls me past the somewhat dumbfounded guard out into the hall, closing the door behind us. What in the...
Shh. Not yet.
Okay. With this surprisingly serious frown, Franz leads me down the hall to the direction of our adjacent rooms. A feeling of relief washes over me being taken out of the situation, although there are so many new questions piling on my plate that I don't know where to start. It's difficult to resist the urge to start asking Franz about what just happened. Furtive demeanor makes me feel like I should hold my tongue for the moment. We approach the door to my room and Franz nudges my shoulder expectantly. Fine, fine. Muttering under my breath, I fish out my key and unlock the door. Why can't we go into his room? He's certainly going to get the wrong idea from this. Once we're inside, Franz closes the door behind me, flicking the lock before slowly turning back to face me. He exhales a soft sigh, shaking his head and rubbing his hand on the back of his neck.
I didn't think they'd strike so soon. At least I was in the right place at the right time.
I'll say, I can't believe you thought to bring a guard with you outside. At my surprised comment, Franz's eyes narrows in a smug, mischievous expression, and he tilts his head to one side.
Oh, that? That was a bluff, actually. I only watched you from the window.
Oh, okay.
I have no alibi, but I doubted that Glasses would take the time to press
He's
forward.
so smart, because he knows, like, if he were to mention one of the king's men, he knows that Linnaeus is going to be like, this is too much, like, trouble to go through, so we're not going to do that. I give him a stunned look. He was so completely confident, even while spouting utter lies to Linnaeus, I don't think I'll be able to trust a word out of his mouth again. Although, that aside, I suppose I owe him for my gratitude for extracting me so effortlessly. Swallowing my pride for a moment, I let out an awkward cough and briefly avert my gaze. Well, regardless, you have my thanks, even if it was a bluff. It certainly saved me back there. But I think I deserve some kind of explanation for whatever the hell happened tonight. It seems like you're the only one who knows anything about it. A roguish grin creeps over Franz's face at my words. Without immediately replying, he strolls over to the chair by the fireplace, lowering himself down onto it and languidly stretching out with his legs spread wide. Oh, okay.
I wouldn't say you've done anything to deserve an explanation, but I'll give you one, just because I have a soft spot for you. Come over here.
He motions for me to approach the chair, so I fold my arms over my chest and stroll up beside it. That's completely unfair, you know. How am I supposed to defend myself if I... What the hell? Wait! Why is he like, what? Why? Oh my god, Franz, you need to stop. God damn it. Like a serpent lashing out at its prey, Franz quickly reaches out and grabs my waist, pulling me down to his lap. I feel a strong sense of deja vu as he tightly coils one arm around me, keeping me caged in this ridiculously humiliating position. You really need to quit with this habit of yours, or one day I'll pull out a knife and stick your grubby hands with it.
Is that so? I don't think anyone's afraid of a kitten's claws, but I'd love to see you try.
Okay, I don't know what Franz is. Like, is he a spy, an assassin himself, or is he just some guy? Like, I'm so confused. I grip my teeth together and squirm out of principle for a few moments, but it's clear that I'm not going anywhere this time either, so I give up and relax in his possessive grip instead. I swear, one of these days, when he's not looking...
Anyway, you said you wanted some explanation for what's going on, right? Well, here's something for you. The man who was killed, he was one of the ambassadors.
Yikes! Oh no, that it's going after the king again, of course. But also, you know, Franz, I love you, but why are we in this position? Okay, what? One of the ambassadors? When I repeat his statement in disbelief, Franz leans in to rest his chin on my shoulder, glancing at me to one side with amusement.
Are you piecing it together yet? Someone's trying to start a war. kitten. What better way to do it than to murder a visiting ambassador? And as to why they want a war, well, the dead ambassador's country lost half its land 5 years ago to none other than your own kingdom. Let's not forget who was in charge of the armies at that time either.
Riv's father. He murmurs those words against my cheek, almost as if he's asking me a riddle, pausing to watch my reaction. Strangely enough, the question I want the answer to most is, how does Franz know so much? For that matter, who even is he? But those questions, as important as they are, surely aren't the key pieces on the board that's been set up. Do you know who's behind this? With so many guests here, it'll be hard to pick them out, and they'll strike again before we get a chance to do anything.
Oh, they will, kitten. And I know that you're going to be their next target.
Fuck. His response doesn't shock me as much as it did before, but I still feel the blood draining from my face at how confidently he purrs out those ominous words. You're telling me that some crazy nationalist wants to kill me because of my father's actions during the war? He suddenly lets out a low laugh at that, his soft exhalations tickling the side of my neck and making my skin break out in goosebumps. Never have I missed my prized personal space so dearly.
Oh, that's entirely possible. But I think the main reason is something a lot simpler. You were out in the gardens right before the murder, weren't you?
Oh, yeah, that's
you
true.
Might have seen the culprit.
Yeah, and then remember he heard whispering before Arden showed up, and then when Arden started talking, the whispers were gone. So they probably saw Rivian and Arden there. But I didn't. I only met up with Arden, and Arden's about as likely to murder someone as an eggplant.
But the murderer doesn't know that, do they? For all they know, you're keeping quiet for your own safety, or planning some kind of blackmail. Those would be standard games and court affairs, after all.
Yeah, it's true. A growing sense of helplessness comes over me as Franz speaks. I just want to say he's just making things up to scare me, but I remember now. Back in the gardens, I heard whispering, something that sent chills down my spine. Let them hear, and back inside. That's what they said. And if they were the ones who were involved in the murder, I'm sure they saw me or heard my voice when Arden surprised me. In that case, they probably think I saw them too. Shit! Damn it all to hell! Well, what do you suggest I do? Go and throw myself over the balcony to save everyone some time?
As romantic a death as that would be, I think I have a better solution.
He flicks his thumb in the direction of my bed, loosening my arm around my waist at the same time.
You can go to sleep, and I'll stay here to keep watch. You'd better hurry up, before I start feeling the need to extract payment.
No! Hang on a moment. You're telling me you're going to keep me safe until we find the assassin? Wouldn't it be a better choice to just arrange a carriage home? Franz quirks an eyebrow at me, and the corners of his mouth teasingly curling upwards.
What do you think that would achieve? It's the easiest thing in the world to find out where a noble family lives. And I'm sure your home isn't more tightly guarded than the castle.
Yeah.
It's better to solve the problem than to run from it.
As weird as the situation is, he has a point. If we just leave, they're going to be like, who the hell is that guy? They're going to find out who his name is, which is Varrison, and they know where they live.
So your best bet is to suss out the culprit here, get them behind bars, and live happily ever after. With my help, of course.
I hesitate, reluctantly acknowledging the rationality in his words. In my moment of pause, Franz reaches around my back, suddenly grabbing my rear with a Oh no! Franz, honey, don't just grab Rivian like that! Come on, I like you, don't grab him like that!
And before you ask what I get out of it, besides being able to make you blush and squirm, let me just say I consider this repayment of a debt.
What, grabbing his ass?
That's all you need to know for now.
What? Trying to keep myself from getting too flustered, I give Franz the most vitriolic glare I can muster and push myself onto my feet, backing away from him. I swear, if you so much as breathe in my general direction during the night...
Don't worry yourself, kitten. I'd much rather you throw yourself into my arms than have to coerce you into them.
Okay, at least he has... Okay, good. Because I was about to say, don't do anything weird, Franz. Okay, at least he knows that. Thank God. He waves a hand dismissively, offering me a suggestive knowing wink, and I turn away with a sigh. Can I really fall asleep with him here? Wouldn't it be a better idea to stay up? Okay, if I'm being honest, yeah, we could go to sleep, but, like, we still don't know about Franz. He seems like a nice guy right now, but we don't know, like, exactly what he's trying to do, because, like Rivian said, when he was talking with Elena, it's so easy for him to lie. So I feel like we should, you know, try to stay awake at least. I don't trust this man, not one bit. I'll just stay awake for most of the night, so if anything happens, at least I'll have a chance to defend myself. Huffing, I slip out everything except my underwear and slide under the bed covers, not taking my suspicious gaze off of Franz. I have no intention to fall asleep. However, I keep my eyes slightly open as I settle down onto the pillow. But as much as I try to stay focused, my eyelids start to grow heavy. Damn it, this bed is just too bloody cozy. Eventually, I end up giving a pull on my sleep and drift off on a gentle doze, just barely conscious of what's going around me. Soon, my consciousness wanes to a complete darkness. Okay, guys, I'm going to end the episode right here. So that was a little bit interesting because now it's more of a murder rather than a kidnapping, and I think this is a little bit worse, but we don't know. Like, with Hazel, it was like the direct bloodline of the king, but now it seems this version of the story is affecting Rivian himself, because they're after the ambassadors, so technically Rivian's father. I'm still wondering what kind of person or who Franz is. My guess is he's like a spy. That's what I think. But let me know in the comments what you guys think and what you thought about Franz so far. I mean, I like that he's flirty and whatever. He's a bit handsy, but at least he has boundaries, you know what I mean? When he's like, I'm not gonna do anything unless you want me to, like you want me or something. So that's good. He's not being creepy. So there we go. Anyway, thank you once again to Argent Games for sending me a game key to play this game, and if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to join the companions, and if you want to help support this channel on Patreon, the link is in the description, or you can support the channel for free with gawkbox.com/AGirlAndAGame. All you have to do is make an account, open it up on your mobile, play the games on there, and you donate real money to the channel, which will help me continue this series and continue the channel overall. Okay, so this was interesting. I like that at least all the routes are going to be different. It's not going to be like the same like thing that happens. So this is pretty cool that in this version someone gets murdered and the real target is Rivian. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!
I was always hoping that I could be you first.
Oh!
And you could be mine.
I'm gonna cry! They're so adorable, help! It's Ernest's allies to the main characters. These powerful beasts are known as summons. They are extraordinary beings that can be called into battle by their summoner. They are also depicted as